Welcome back, everyone. This is Game 3 of our quadruple header of the first round of the UHSA baseball playoffs here from Miller Field. Alexander Tumulib rejoined by Ty Wilkinson here in the booth. From the Big 12 Now booth here at BYU as we're getting set to start the third game as the clouds have turned dark again and it's starting to rain again here for our third game. But Ty, we have already seen some dramatic games here. The first two games, not the games we expected. Two upsets in two games that we saw from our first two games that we saw this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely not the teams that we expected to, have fate by the sword early, at least. I shouldn't say by the sword, it's double elimination, but still, a couple of upsets, and I think that's just the aspects of the playoff baseball, Alex. I mean, a couple of teams that didn't play each other during the regular season just because 6A is so widely diverse, as you know. But the matchup, the venue is different. You're playing on turf. I feel like there's just so many different aspects that go into, the baseball game in and of itself.
So now we get set for this third game here, Ty. It is American Fork taking on the Syracuse Titans. And American Fork has been the best team in 6A all season long. They have won 3 of the last 4 championships in 6A. Riverton was the only one that upended them in 2022 here on this field in Provo. I will tell you, after they lost to Riverton 8-3 to begin the season, Ty, this team under Jared Ingersoll, they looked loaded for bear, and they looked ready to take on all comers.
I mean, they've been the most dangerous team for the longest time in baseball in the state of Utah. I mean, 3 championships in the past 4 years. I mean, what else can you ask for in these coming into this playoffs and the runs that you've had? You're under an amazing head coach who has almost 11 titles under his belt. I mean, it's interesting too because American Fork has such a widely diverse age range as well. You have quite a few seniors, quite a few juniors, quite a few sophomores. There's no gapped bridge barrier of a certain amount. So American Fork, we'll see how they do tonight against the Syracuse Titans in this matchup.
I was about to say, we've already seen one region team go down, and we've seen one region 1 team win. Syracuse looks fairly dangerous. I mean, we talked about how coming into this tournament, everybody was 0-0. Syracuse is exactly what you would expect out of a dark horse team.
To say the least. I mean, you just take a team as well as Syracuse has been all year. This is a young team, too. I feel like Syracuse and their age range and their adaptation to American Fork could be a very interesting style of play. I'm just so interested to see how Syracuse does because pitching for American Fork has been really good. Hitting has been good. Same goes for Syracuse. It's just a really good all-around matchup tonight, and I'm so excited to watch.
So we get set to start our first-round game as we bring you the starting lineups for both teams. Let's see who the coaches have assembled as their winning team today. Like the winning team that is assembled for you, the client, with Heidemann and Associates. Call them today or schedule a free consultation with them online, courtesy of the Rewind Sports Network. Leading off for the Syracuse Titans will be Audi Burton at shortstop, Easton Hamblin, the right fielder, second, Carson Miles, third, Brock Hopkins, the second baseman, will be batting cleanup, center fielder Dawson Raymond will be batting fifth, first baseman Tag Hamblin will be batting sixth, Jake Hopkins, the starting pitcher, seventh in the order, Tatum Martin, eighth, Bronx Manning, ninth, the designated hitter, rounds out the order for Derek Thomas's Titans. On the other side for American Fork, Jared Ingersoll's put out C.J. Mascaro in center field first, Jet Walker, the shortstop, second, Cooper Jones batting third at second base, Dax Watts, the starting pitcher, batting fourth, Tayson Howard batting fifth, he's in the third base spot, Bodie Gagero is the designated hitter, he is batting sixth, Cash Polson batting seventh, he's the catcher, left fielder Crew Ingersoll, coach's son, bats eighth, and Dax Greening bats ninth, rounding out the order. The only one not hitting is the first baseman Brandon Upham. Caleb Wilson for the Titans is the one that is not hitting. And as I just mentioned, the Titans will be going up against one of the best number ones in the state in Dax Watts. Had a bit of a blip on the radar to begin the season against Riverton there in the first game of the year, but he has settled in really nicely into his role as the number one for head coach Jared Ingersoll.
And to say the least, too, Dax Watts committed to the University of Utah. He's a senior. not only can he pitch, I mean, he's ranked 9th in the top 10 of Utah for his pitching stat metrics. 3-1 last season. He's 4-1 this year. He's managed to maintain a 3.5 ERA. I mean, how much better can you do it? 28 RBIs, 27 hits. Like, this guy is dangerous, Alex. Like, he's a 5-tool guy, and it shows, too.
And you're going to also see number 1 against number 1 tonight as well, because you got to remember, Dax Watts, the number 1 for AF going. Jake Hopkins, the number 1 going for Syracuse, the starting quarterback earlier this season for the Titans football team as well. So we are going to see a great pitching duel here in this third game. As Audi Burton steps into the leadoff box to get us going for game number 3. It's just after 5:30 p.m. We're about an hour behind schedule, but frankly, who cares? And the noise ratcheting up a notch from both dugouts as Dax Watts kicks, deals, fires, and his first pitch is high for ball 1.
Man, that Syracuse dugout is probably the most fired up I think we've heard so far in these 3 games, Alex. And that was just the first pitch.
And American Fork, too. I mean, American Fork's dugout is equally, if not as loud, as that pitch is on the inside half, but not call a strike.
This feels like primetime baseball, I'll tell you what. Tensions are at its rise on a 2-0 count. Love to see it.
2-0 pitch. That one hits Burton on the helmet. And that is a HBP to lead off the game. And Ty, I will say this. I was there when Dax Watts hit Carson Moody with the very first pitch of the season for American Fork. And this is not what you want to see.
Not exactly at all, because not only does he have 3 straight balls that he's thrown in a row, now that adds an extra base runner, and that even equivalently adds the pressure to Dax Watts. They're checking on him right now. He seems to be okay.
I think they're checking on the helmet. I think they need to replace the... I think the ear flap must have...
shattered.
Yeah, must have broken off. So they're going to try and find another suitable replacement for Audi Burton.
Well, this is good news for Dax Watts, because now he gets a breather at the mound.
He sure does.
As you can see, his infield coming in for support.
And
trying to say, all right, let's hone in. And we need strikes. We can't, hit any other pitchers. So that's the best news.
And so here comes the... Actually, it looks like there might be blood on the field right now, and in fact, it is.
No kidding.
It looks like that. So it looks like that pitch caught Burton in a spot where it cut him on the side of his head. Well, that's not something you see every day.
Fortunately, he seems to be okay and not completely out of it.
Right.
And fortunately for Dax Watts, this isn't hockey where he could get a 4-minute minor.
Yeah, it draws blood. You can get a 4-minute double minor for high sticking. But Burton is okay. They're just trying to make sure that they stop the bleeding on his that little cut on his head over at first base. So they're going to tend to that. And now we're back underway here. So here comes Easton Hamblin now with a runner on first and nobody out. This is eerily similar to the first game of the year for American Fork, where Dax Watts hit Carson Moody with the very first pitch of the year. First pitch from Watts is on the outside, but too high. 1 ball, no strikes.
Good eye by the junior. And I mean Syracuse. I feel like I'm hearing them more than American Fork, but they're both chirping at each other. This is prime time, man.
1-0 pitch. High and outside. Try to go pitch out. 2 balls, no strikes. And out pops the pitching coach already. And the American Fork number 1, Dax Watts. I mean, Ty, I keep going back to that first game against Riverton. I mean, it took Dax Watts 6 pitches to throw a strike. And by the time he threw a strike, Dylan Zulo scored on a 2-run double, and it was already 2-0, or rather it was Ben Allred who scored on a 2-run double. And next thing you know, Zach Edwards makes it 2-0.
So you're implying we're getting a similar situation to a pitching account of Dax Watts?
Roughly. I hope not. I hope not. I'm keeping a positive attitude here. I hope not.
Well, we're yet to see a strike here on a 2-0 count.
Yeah, and he's already thrown 5 balls.
And if you're Syracuse, that's perfectly good news. I mean, you love to see the aggressiveness and the opportunity that Dax Watts deals. And they're just being content. Not a swing has happened yet.
Quick throw back over to first. Back in is Burton. As the rain starts picking back up, it's a little bit of a drizzle here.
Guess the sun must not like me, Alex.
That is swung on and missed. Strike 1. And that's the first strike of the afternoon thrown by Dax Watts, and that's a biggie as he tries to get back on track. An HBP on the 3rd pitch of the game. Easton Hamblin trying to move the runner over. Here's the 2-1. Shows bunt, misses, throw back to first! No. That was close. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Syracuse is getting really, really comfortable here on the first base path already, Alex. And American Fork almost tried to capitalize on an opportunity, unfortunately. Got back just in time. And so they'll maintain their base runner still with no outs and a 2-2 count.
Dax Watts ready. The 2-2 pitch on the way. And that is nowhere even close. 3 balls and 2 strikes, so the count goes full on Easton Hamblin, the right fielder.
So now this puts the pressure on the Syracuse hitter because he's bound to throw a strike right here on about a 3-2 count. The only issue is it going to be off-speed or is it going to be a fast pitch?
We're about to find out. Quick throw over to first, and back in time is Burton.
It's a good strategy as a pitcher just to go back to first a couple of times, especially on a full count. Gives the batter more time to think.
Full count offering, payoff pitch on the way. Hit in the air, toward the gap. Center fielder coming over, makes the catch. Throw back into first, Burton's there in time. It hung up there just long enough for the center fielder Mascaro to get over there. And a big out number 1 there for Dax Watts, following the HBP to lead off the game.
Massaro, I think he just ran about, I don't know how many yards that is, Alex, but from his position, he was basically almost in right field coming on to get that.
Again, home plate umpire telling the players for American Fork to step off the top step of the dugout in the open side so they don't get hit. First pitch on the way to the third baseman. Carson Miles is up high around the eyes for ball 1.
Feels like a different day that we're playing in this ball game, just considering the sun from last ball game, and we're going right back to the first one.
This one is hit on the ground, and it's booted by the shortstop Walker. They will not get the runner at first. They will not get the runner at second. That's going to be an error on Walker, the shortstop. And just like that, there are runners on first and second with just 1 out, as Walker could not pick up the wet baseball off the carpet.
Oh, Jet Walker. That was one you want to get back, honestly, personally.
And you don't see him make that kind of mistake very often.
Yeah.
He's one of the best shortstops at his position in the state.
Committed to Colorado Mesa next year, playing the RMAC.
Also, along with him will be Lone Peak soon-to-be graduate Brooks Wild. He's also going to Colorado Mesa. The first pitch on the way misses the outer half there for Brock Hopkins, the second baseman. Runners on first and second, 1 out, top half of the first. As the American Fork Cavemen are just trying to find their footing here, but the Syracuse Titans have thrown a sucker punch. How will they respond to Cavemen? 1-0 pitch. That one is down low, 2-0.
Dax right now is trying to get off-speed pitches on the corner, trying to get Syracuse to chase. But every batter he's faced has had a really content approach. And that's difficult to get batters, especially when you're throwing these off-speed pitches on the outside.
This one is skied in the air, into right, coming over to the first base side, giving way as the first baseman Upham. And making the catch over there is the second baseman Jones, and there are 2 gone now here in the top half of the first.
So now if you're American Fork, you're feeling a little bit more, I would say, comfortable. Not exactly just because you have a guy on first and a guy on second. Not to mention some of the fastest guys in Utah for 6A.
Yeah, this is one of the quickest teams in 6A. They like stealing bases under head coach Derek Thomas. First pitch on the way. Cut on and missed there by Dawson Raymond. Strike one.
Dex is in a rhythm now.
0-1 the count. Watts comes set, and the pitch is down low. That's going to allow the runners to get over a bag. And now it's second and third on a ball and a strike with 2 out. It's not an error, but it might as well go down as one on a pass ball, as Watts not liking the game ball he's been given, so they're going to throw another one out to him.
Well, this isn't the guy you want to face either if you're Dax Watts. He ties the lead for most RBIs in the team.
2-0 pitch, left it up high, 3-0. Or rather, that's 2-1 now.
Yeah.
So 2 balls and a strike now on the center fielder, Dawson Raymond. And time called by Raymond. He'll step out.
You got to wonder if the Syracuse dugout's getting in his head. I mean, those boys haven't really been quiet ever since the start of the first pitch.
That one is cut on and missed, strike 2, and now it's deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 out, and 2 runners on. Watts, ready. The pitch. Down low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Good eye.
That's a great take by Raymond, too.
I mean, how disciplined you have to be to lay off that sucker. Full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 runners on. High stress situation already for Watts. He'll step off.
It's a good strategy as a pitcher.
Now he's ready on the rubber. The step and the swing and the miss for strike 3. And Watts does get out of the jam. Well done for Dax Watts as the Syracuse Titans strand runners at second and third. After 1/2 inning, it remains scoreless on the first of our 2 primetime games here at Provo. Rewind Sports Network here on KSLSports.com continues our coverage of UHSAA baseball. Jake Hopkins getting ready to start on the mound for the Syracuse Titans. Like we said, Alexander Timolip, Ty Wilkinson here at Miller Park. It's number 1 pitcher against number 1 pitcher. And Jake Hopkins has quite an impressive resume, Ty, for a pitcher of his stature.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, great earned run average over the year. His record was also great. Syracuse does not play in the easiest division in 6A of all time in Utah either. I mean, difficult schedules all around, but he's managed to maintain as good of an ERA as he has. And I think that just comes with the talent, the corporation, and the experience that you're given, too, as a pitcher. Kind of when you're just in the league for a long time, you become a veteran, and I think that's his situation right now.
Hopkins, of course, was the starting quarterback for the Syracuse football team earlier this season. But he's made his name in baseball, and he certainly has been the number 1 go-to guy for head coach Derek Thomas this season. As we get set to start the bottom half of the first inning here at Larry H. Miller Field. As center fielder CJ Mascaro gets set to start. As the tomahawk chop is bellowed out from the Cavemen dugout.
This is Hopkins' 11th appearance. Just in this year, he's got a 4.2 record. And he can back that up with a 3.76 ERA.
That one is smoked into center field, dropping fast, and it's a base hit. Drops right in front of Raymond, the center fielder. Comes back in quickly. And on 1 pitch, the American Fork Cavemen had their first base runner of the ball game.
Raymond got lucky that ball did not bounce over his forehead, Alex. we've been talking about the consistency that this turf and the turf monster has applied, and had that gone at least, I don't know, about a foot in front of him, that was bouncing easily over his head.
First base hit either side has had this afternoon as a quick throw back into first, and Mascaro is back in there safely. Here's Jet Walker, the shortstop. Here's Hopkins, the first pitch to him, and that is outside, ball one. Fremont will face Corner Canyon tomorrow afternoon in the first second-round game. Davis and Mountain Ridge will play the first elimination game tomorrow, as that one is swung on and missed for strike one. What a crazy day of baseball we've had here at Miller Field. Quick throw back over to first, and in safely is the runner.
Well, a little about Jet Walker. He leads his team with 34 hits, 19 RBIs on the year.
1-1 pitch. That one pops out of the glove, but it's a strike. Regardless, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And as we mentioned before, Colorado Mesa commit. He can show what he's worth here in the batter's box in this playoff game, too.
Hopkins has a look back over at first. The 1-2 pitch coming, and the throw back into first, and back in safely is the runner Mascaro.
Interestingly enough, Alex, Jet Walker, per perfect game, in October of 2020, his exit velocity was 73 miles an hour. 4 years later today, it's 93.
Goodness.
He has increased by 20 miles an hour in his exit velo.
I mean, that's college numbers already he's putting up as far as exit velo is concerned. Here's the 1-2 from Hopkins. Trying to go high and away and get him to chase. It's 2-2.
I'm sure Colorado Mesa is going to be happy to have this guy on their roster coming up next spring.
2-2 the count on Jet Walker. Runner at first. Here's the pitch. This one is down and away, 3-2. And the count goes full.
So now if you're Hopkins, you're kind of in the same situation that Dax Wax was in earlier. You have a 3-2 count, no outs, runner on first. You kind of just got to make do with your situation or rely on your defense.
Here's the pitch. Runner goes. Throw down to second. Is not in time. As Jet Walker will reach on ball 4. And Cooper Jones now comes to the plate with American Fort threatening to break the seal.
CJ Massaro on second. It isn't exactly known for stealing bases on the base path, at least as stats have proven so far this season. Now you got a runner on first and second. We'll see what he does.
Hopkins leaves that one up high, ball 1. And here comes the catcher out to the mound to have a visit with Hopkins. One ball, no strikes, the count. Here comes the pitch. That one is on the corner for a strike. Good yacker right there from Jake Hopkins.
Cooper Jones with a stat you don't really hear in Utah high school sports. He leads his team 6 home runs during the regular season that he's played. And again, you're lucky even if a guy surpasses about 2, and he's managed to already attain 6.
1-1 pitch, check throw back to second, and it's not in time. Count remains 1 ball, 1 strike. Already a base hit in this inning as the American Fort Cavemen try to break through first. 1-1 pitch. High and outside, 2-1.
American Fork having the same content approach that Syracuse had in the first inning of at-bats. Similarly mirroring the effect that Syracuse already put on in the first inning.
2-1 outside, 3 balls and a strike. And so Hopkins now a pitch away from potentially loading the bags full of Cavemen.
Well, this is a hitter's count, too. This is where he feels most comfortable, a 3-1 count. You have a pitch to take.
This is Danger Will Robinson here for Jake Hopkins. He comes set. 3-1 count and the pitch. Good pitch right there on the inner half for a strike, and the count goes full.
Cooper Jones still analyzing it. He's been in these moments before, Alex. I think he knows how to work a pitcher to the brink.
Already the 6th pitch of the AB coming up here. The 3-2 payoff. Fly ball into right, falling, but hangs up just enough for the right fielder to come in and make the play! And they're going to get the runner at second! An F9-6 double play. And there are 2 gone here in the bottom half of the first as CJ Mascaro was caught leaning off a second.
That was great awareness by Easton Hamlin. Catch and throw. And it was about a millisecond that ball was even in his hands before he was caught. And as we said before, CJ, not a big runner on the base path. And he tried to go and he wanted to score.
Watts takes down low. It's pitcher against pitcher here, ball 1. And you just get the feeling we're just beginning this little bit of a pitcher's duel here tonight.
Well, the tables have definitely turned in the favor of Syracuse. You got 1 out.
Throw back into first, not in time. As back in safely as Jet Walker. Score that an F9-6 double play. Quick throw back to first. Again, Walker leaning aggressively towards second. Lucky to get back in. 2 outs here, bottom half of the first inning.
See, Walker is known for stolen bases.
That one's down low. 2 balls and no strikes.
12 on the season. He's tied with Taysom Hayward, his teammate.
They have been the wrecking ball crew all season long on the base paths. Jet Walker and Taysom Howard. You know he might be going here. Throw back to first, and that one actually bounced up into the glove and was trapped by the first baseman, so that would not have been a pickoff anyway.
Dax Watts is like, come on, I'm ready to swing.
Here it comes. This is up high, 3 balls and no strikes. So you kind of wonder if Hopkins is going to let him see anything here. Out of respect for those numbers you put up earlier, the 28 doubles and the 27 RBIs for Dax Watts earlier this season. I mean, it stands to reason. 3-0 pitch, taking all the way. Strike called on the inner half. The rain has picked up again a little bit here. Temperatures dropped about 5 degrees. It's 52 degrees now, and the west-northwest wind of 14 miles per hour. 3-1 pitch is hit weakly to second. Coming over and getting it, winging it across to first. Despite the good effort there from Dax Watts to slide in, he is out, and that ends the inning. So the American Fork Cavemen put up a threat, but the Syracuse defense eliminates it. And we are scoreless after the end of 1 complete inning in Game 3 of the opening round of the 6A baseball playoffs. The Rewind Sports Network's coverage of UHSAA baseball will continue tomorrow afternoon as the winner of this game faces off against the winner of Riverton and Lehigh. Boy, what a game that's going to be coming up. That game will be at 7 p.m. with me and Ty Wilkinson. All games of the 6A baseball playoffs can be found right here on your home for the Spring Sports Championships. KSL Sports Rewind. Want to give a shout out to Alex Napolis over at Zions Bank Stadium today. How about that finish, Ty? In extra time, Wasatch, the defending 5A champs, down, and they score the equalizer with 10 minutes to go, and then they walk it off in extra time in the 95th minute. Just incredible.
Just clutch, in my opinion, Alex. That's how you meet the moment right there, is if you're able to come within the last 5 minutes. That's a very, very good sign for that team.
First pitch on the way from Dax Watts as it's at 6 o'clock Mountain Time here as the sun begins to peek away. Tag Hamblin takes ball 1. 1-0 pitch is down low again. 2 balls and no strikes. .20 pitch. Hit in the air to right. Crossing over into foul territory. 3 red shirts get over there, but no one's going to be able to pick it up. And it bounces into the bullpen.
And for American Ford, giving them the benefit of the doubt, that's a difficult out fly to get. You got 3 guys coming in from 3 different separate positions to try to get that fly out.
Yeah, you had the right fielder, you had the second baseman, and you had the first baseman all coming in trying to get that pop-up. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That is high and outside. 3 balls and a strike now on Tag Hamblin. Jake Hopkins, the pitcher, is next in the order. 6, 7, 8 to lead off the bottom or the top of the second for the Cuse. And that is strike 2 on the outer half of the plate. And so once again, the count goes full.
Quite a few full counts to start the first couple of innings here for Syracuse. They've been able to stay content. Can that continue?
Watts. High fly ball in the air to right off the end of the bat. That's dropping fast. That's going to be a base hit. Lands just in front of the right fielder, Graining. And Tag Hamblin is on base with a leadoff single for the Syracuse Titans. Their first base hit of the ball game.
His 23rd of the year. And what better of a bat to come to than Tagar Hamlin? And then following it up with Hopkins, another pitcher duel.
Yep, so after we saw Hopkins against Watts, now we see Watts against Hopkins here in the top half of the second. Shows bunt, but takes a strike. Tatum Martin and Bronx Manning, the next 2 in the order here for the Cuse. 1-0 pitch. Shows bunt again. Pops this one up foul back to the screen.
Was pretty close to hitting us.
No balls and 2 strikes now on the pitcher, Jake Hopkins. With the runner and Tag Hamblin on first. Shows bunt again. Now pulls it back and takes a ball. Interesting that Hopkins is still trying to bunt despite the fact he's in a 1-2 count. The scoreboard says 2-1, but it's actually 1 ball and 2 strikes. Because Hamblin took a strike and then bunted it foul back to the screen and then took that one high. The 1-2 pitch on the way. And he pops up the bunt. And Watts is going to get there. And yeah, you can hear Derek Thomas telling his pitcher he's not very pleased at the way Hopkins handled that. I don't have to translate very much for you to know what Derek Thomas was telling his pitcher just now. He wasn't very happy. But anyway, here's Tatum Martin now. Runner on first is Hamblin following the leadoff single. And the pitch is right at the knees. Perfect placement for a strike. Watts comes set, 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on a changeup in the dirt. 2 strikes.
Tatum Martin, known for his great hitting approach. He's down really low in the count, though, an 0-2. And you want to try to get in scoring position here, at least get him over to second base.
He struck him out. Dax Watts sets the man down on 3 pitches. Good morning, good afternoon, and goodbye. And there are now 2 gone, and here comes Bronx Manning, the DH. Audi Burton stands on deck to lead off the top of the 3rd if we don't get there, as that one was way inside there on Bronx Manning. Almost hit him in the noggin. One-0 pitch. Hit in the air to center. And coming over and making the catch is Mascaro. And that will retire the side. So they get a leadoff single to the Syracuse Titans, but they don't advance the runner any further. 1.5 innings complete here at Miller Field in game number 3 of our quadruple header. It remains 0-0.
The Cavemen 0.
The Rewind Sports Network's coverage of UHSAA baseball is presented all season long by Heidemann & Associates. Every coach has to assemble a winning batting order, just like Heidemann & Associates has to organize a winning team for you, the client. Call them today at 801-754-4240 or contact them online at utah.law to schedule your free consultation with them, courtesy of the Rewind Sports Network. We also remind you that our coverage is presented by Igloo Outfitters, the coziest wearable sleeping bag that has you covered for all seasons of the year. Use the promo code REWIND to get 20% off your next order when you order online at igluoutfitters.com. Alexander Timolip and Ty Wilkinson here in the broadcast booth. The Big 12 now on ESPN Plus broadcast booth here at Larry H. Miller Field. It is scoreless as we play the bottom of the 2nd inning. As Jake Hopkins returns to work. And his first pitch is hit on the ground and through the right side for a base hit. Brock Hopkins put his glove down to try to trap it, but it skipped right through his legs. And I wonder how they're going to score that. It looks like they're going to score that in E4. As Bodie Guerrero now stands up to the plate.
Yeah, he overread that more than anything, Alex. That pitch was down and a low, and it had a little bit of hop to it. I think he wasn't expecting the amount of hop it did, and it caught a little edge and then went right through his legs, and it went 5-hole.
You always have to bring the hockey reference up, don't you?
Of course I do.
Jeez. Check throw back into first, and the first baseman's way off the bag there on the check throw.
Little note for you, too, Alex, is every time that either American Fork or Syracuse has been at bat in these 2 innings, they've got a leadoff runner.
There goes the runner. Throw down to second. Going to be close. They did not get him. As Tayson Howard gets in there with a stolen base. And another runner in scoring position now for American Fork in a 2-0 count.
Well, I told you earlier, he is tied for the lead in his team with stolen bases. He's got 12. And boy, can he run, too. And that was a close call.
It was. It was probably closer than I think we expected. It was a 4-step runoff. Hopkins has a look back. 2-0 pitch. That's right at the knees. Strike 1. Bodie Guerrero trying to be the first one to break through for the American Fork Cavemen. They had one opportunity with runners in scoring position. They did not score. Both teams 0 for 1 RASP. This one just a little bit off the outside corner, 3-1.
Great player, just a sophomore. This is his first year playing varsity. And I mean, he's managed to attain 25 hits on 15 RBIs just during the regular season.
Hopkins has a look back at second. The 3-1, and that hits him. And that was ball 4 anyway, so I don't think Gajero is getting the message here. It was going to be ball 4 anyway, so. And now we're going to have a conference here at the mound. I think everybody's confused. As Jared Angersall now trying to look out to the mound saying what gives, but I think everybody's just confused. Because it was going to be ball 4 anyway, and the pitch hit him, so.
I think it was just Bode's reaction to it.
Right.
Trying to go down to the first baseline.
And again, there was no signal from any of the umpires. No one said that it was a base hit, or it was a hit by pitch, or it was a walk. Well, now we got it sorted out. There we go. Now we got it all straightened out. I don't think there was a.
It's just a little glitch.
Yeah. The home plate because the home plate umpire made a signal like he was signaling for a hit by pitch, but it would have been ball 4 anyway, and that, I think, threw everybody off. So Derek Thomas is just trying to ask the home plate umpire, what took you guys so long to make the call? Because now I think he's even more confused than we are up here in the booth. I think it'll work out, though, for everybody, Ty. It's been a long day.
Yeah, you would say, right?
It has been a long day.
Well, we're just barely past halfway through, Alex.
Yeah, we're just barely past halfway through here. Here comes Cash Polson now as we're having to switch the game balls out again. I don't think the seams on that were very friendly to Jake Hopkins, so he signaled to the umpire to get him another one, so they will.
They're definitely reusing a lot of baseballs, too, Alex. You notice how they say whenever you have a foul ball, immediately return it to the dugout.
Jake Hopkins comes set, runner in scoring position with nobody out here in the bottom of the second. Quick throw back to second, and that was a bit of a low throw, but they didn't get him. Hopkins comes set, and the pitch. Inside, throw back to second to keep Tayson Howard honest. And it's 1 ball, no strikes.
Caleb Wilson trying to keep him in check over there. He doesn't want any funny business with a runner on first and second and no outs. Just trying to help Jake Hopkins every way he can.
Here's the 1-0. Again shows bunt, and that one is bunted foul off the end of the bat up the third base line. Crew Ingersoll, Dax Greening next in the order for the American Fork Cavemen here. It's a no-score game, but American Fork threatening their second opportunity with runner in scoring position today. Here's the 1-1. And again, tries to bunt, lays it down, but no dice on that one. 2 balls and a strike. The runner at second is Howard. Runner at first is Bodie Gajero. As the wind starts to pick up again here at Larry H. Miller Field. The 2-1. Again shows bunt, doesn't bite. 3 balls and a strike now.
Well, he plays for the club team, Trusky National, which is the Brewers scout team. Kind of just goes to show how's his content approach and not taking as aggressive as hacks as he would in the first upcoming pitches that he deals.
The 3-1. And again, bunted foul up the third baseline, so the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Cash Polson, and you'd have to think he's probably going to be swinging, and everybody's going to be running here on this pitch.
Well, per metrics, exit velocity is 93, and it's so interesting to me. His swing sequence starts at the hips, goes to his shoulder rotation, then the torso directly to his hand. Coaches have been working with him for so long to get that perfect swing in order.
And another hit batsman. And now the bases are full of Cavemen. As Crew Ingersoll comes to the plate, we're going to have a pinch runner for the Cavemen as Isaac Murdoch goes out to first to replace Cash Polson, the catcher. And some major traffic now for Jake Hopkins, as we're going to have a staff meeting out on the mound of the defensive minds. Both pitchers hitting some major traffic bumps early on here in this one. As Crew Ingersoll comes to the plate.
Well, here's Coach's son right here, Alex. Of Jared Ingersoll, longtime head coach of American Fork.
First pitch on the way. And he swings and misses at that one as Howard scrambles back to third.
Howard tripped, Alex. You see that third base line that's kind of scuffed up right there? That's kind of where he did a little double stop, and his cleats kind of got caught. And they almost had him at third had he not gotten back off of the slip.
0-1 pitch. That's a base hit to left field. 1 run will score. They'll put the stop sign on the runner at third. And the first hit of the ball game and the first big blow of the game belongs to the Cavemen. It is 1-0 AF. On the RBI single by Crew Ingersoll. And the bases remain loaded now for the 9th man in the order, Dax Greening. First pitch coming from Hopkins is fouled off to the left, and watch out, everybody over on University Parkway.
Yeah, Greening has had a pretty difficult time, at least in the batter's box. Granted, he's only played 21 games so far this season. He's only batting 292.
That one misses just below the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Comes more so with the experience. I mean, for the senior as well. Being in this lineup with bases loaded.
1 ball, 1 strike. Bags are full. Here's the pitch. Did he go? He didn't look like he did. He did not. 2 balls and a strike. At least from what we're watching back here, clearly wrist did not break the plane of the plate, so it's 2-1. 2-1 pitch is popped up into the left side. Coming over is the shortstop, Burton. And he makes the catch. And it's out number 2. And that's out number 1. So now turning over the lineup cards. Here comes the center fielder, CJ Mascaro. Now the double play ball is in play here for the Syracuse Titans.
And if you're Jake Hopkins, that's the break you want to catch, is a short fly out to third. And as you mentioned, the double play is now easily an option for Syracuse to try to turn if possible.
1 run already home, bottom of the 2nd inning. 1-0 American Fork. 1 run on 1 hit with 1 error here in this inning. As Mascaro stands in, and the 1-0 pitch is bounced up to the plate. Good block there by the catcher. 2 balls and no strikes.
You wonder what's going through the head right now of Jake Hopkins. Just the idea of the pitches that he wants to throw to just this stacked American Fork lineup. I mean, Alex, this entire lineup is almost batting close to like 300, playoffs included.
That's why I could never be a pitcher in this situation. I would never be able to get my heart rate down to a sufficient level where I could control myself. I'd just start yakking it all over the place.
It's got the same stress amount, I would say, as a golfer because it's all on you.
Well, I don't know about the same stress amount as a golfer, as this one is a check swing not ruled a strike, so 3 balls and a strike now is the call. And with the bases loaded, Jake Hopkins is in danger of losing the center fielder Mascaro and walking in a run. We saw 4 of these against Mountain Ridge, drawn by Fremont. 3-0. Ball 4, 2-0 American Fork. And the merry-go-round continues.
Playing 2, Jet Walker.
And now Jet Walker steps up to the plate.
You wonder if Derek Thomas is going to start adding some bullpen activity here coming up soon.
Still rather early, only 1 1/3 pitch so far for Jake Hopkins, but you're right. This is an awful lot of work he's had, and he's already allowed 2 runs. That one is right at the knees for a strike, and that's a much-needed one.
Well, not only is it a lot of work, but it's a lot of work against the #1 team in 6A in baseball. Again, just such a loaded lineup of guys.
That one is off the corner and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
But sometimes you can wonder if there's any way. You can only hope to contain him. Is there any way to actually beat him?
Well, Riverton showed the way. You got to beat them at their own game pretty much with their pitching and small ball lineup, as the 1-1 pitch is cut on and missed on the hands for strike 2. 2 runs already home on 1 base hit in this inning with 1 error for the American Fork Cavemen, scoring on the RBI single by Crew Angersol and then scoring on the RBI walk drawn by CJ Mascaro. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball to the right. Throw to home. They're going to get the runner there for the force. Score at 2-3 put out. And now there are 2 out here in the inning, and I think if you're Jake Hopkins, that's probably the best case scenario you could have had right there. That 2-3 put out, that 3-2 put out at home.
It's a great play by Tag Hamlin to Caleb Wilson to get that play at home. Prevents the run. And so it still maintains only a 2-run game instead of a 3.
And in a game like this, where it's probably going to come down to the pitching, that makes a big difference. Here's Cooper Jones now. This one is hit in the air to center. Coming in onto the Y and making the catch is the center fielder Dawson Raymond, and that will retire the side. But the American Fork Cavemen strike for 2, but they can't get any more across. They leave the bases loaded in the bottom of the 2nd inning. They do have a 2-0 lead in Game 3 of our quadruple header on the Rewind Sports Network. Rewind Sports Network and our coverage of the UHSAA baseball playoffs continues. Alexander Timoff alongside our broadcast partner Ty Wilkinson here from the Big 12 Now on ESPN broadcast booth here at the Larry H. Miller Field. And so, Ty, I turn to you. You were telling me how the damage has been done, but in the grand scheme of things, in a 2-0 game where it looks like pitching's going to be the difference, it really isn't that big of a difference right now on the scoreboard.
It is not a big difference at all. I mean, 2 runs, it's very manageable for Syracuse to try to come back. I mean, just the top of the 3rd inning. The only issue is for Syracuse is since you're the lower seed, you don't get the opportunity to have that bottom of the 7th inning to try to have a comeback in those dire situations that you need them to be most effective.
Top of the order leads off the 3rd here for the Syracuse Titans against Dax Watts. First pitcher on the corner is called for strike 1.
Dax is feeling very comfortable in the position that he's in. 2 innings, and he's only allowed 1 hit so far.
This one is hit foul up the left side as he was out in front. 0-1 the count, or rather 0-2 now the count on Audie Burton, who was hit by a pitch but did not score in the first inning. A 1 pitch or 0-2 pitch on the way here from Watts. Got him. Froze him with a strike right over the heart of the plate, and there's one gone. That was absolute nastiness.
Do you think he's not in the zone?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, he definitely came to play. One quick, easy strikeout on a 1-2-3.
That one's on the corner for a strike.
And he's throwing a little bit of everything, too. Off speed. He's got fastballs, throwing a little bit of hot sauce. Maybe a little chili powder on there, too. He's just cooking up all sorts of things today.
0-1 pitch. That one's down low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Top of the third inning. 2-0 our score in favor of American Fork. That one's on the corner for a strike. Strike 2.
He has definitely found his rhythm. Whether that's the connection with Catch Poulsen right behind the plate.
That one is high and inside, outside. 2 balls. Two balls and 2 strikes now the count. And the pitch. Foul tip right back to the screen. American Fork run ruled the Weber Warriors in 2 consecutive games, and they look like the favorites. Trying to do that here today. 2-2 pitch is hit foul. That goes over the left field stands and into close to the parking lot. So we'll do it again. By the way, if a ball hits the tarp or the roof at UCCU Ballpark at any point during the week, it'll be time for Any Hour Services random roof ringer. As meanwhile, Dax Watts rings up that man going back to the dugout. A 2-2 pitch called for, swung on and missed for strike 3, and there are 2 gone. And that will bring up the third baseman Carson Miles as Easton Hamblin was set down on strikes. First pitch. On the corner this time, doesn't get the call though, ball 1.
In the games we've seen, I feel like his velocity is topping most of the pitchers that we've seen earlier today, Alex. That might be making it super hard for these hitters to read. That's why it's getting them so down in the count.
2 balls and no strikes now the count here on Carson Miles. That one is down low again, so 3 balls and no strikes now the count. The count. Here comes the pitch. Taking all the way. Strike call right at the letters. The 3-1. And ball 4. And so no clean inning for Dax Watts to be had here as he issues a free pass to Carson Miles. And here comes Brock Hopkins, the second baseman. As Cash Poulsen trots out to the mound to have a conference with his pitcher.
I feel like that's a good mound visit to take, too. I mean, even though the scoreboard says 1 hit, that's been given up. I think it's still a really good sign that your catcher, Catch Poulsen, he's kind of got your back. Kind of that chemistry and coordination that comes with being a teammate.
1-0 pitch. Turn and throw back to first, and the throw was dropped by the first baseman, so they wouldn't have had the tag on. This one is hit in the air to right. Coming in is the right fielder. Dak screening, he makes the catch, and that retires the side here in the top of the third inning. No runs, no hits, no errors in the top of the third inning for the Syracuse Titans. And the American Fork Cavemen still lead 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the third on the Rewind Sports Network. Back here at Larry H. Miller Field here at BYU on the campus of Brigham Young University. Alexander Timolip and Ty Wilkinson, game 3 of our quadruple header of baseball games here today on the Rewind Sports Network. With American Fork leading 2-0 as we go to the bottom half of the third inning. And Ty, you get the feeling we're just in the middle of a defensive duel here between these two teams.
That's what it feels like, too. So the biggest note that I had coming into this game, Alex, was that American Fork, coming into this game in the first and second innings, they had combined 71 runs. So quick start for them was key. I mean, obviously that didn't exactly work as they would have intended, but still, the fact that they have had 220 runs all year and 71 of them have came in the first and second innings really shows how these quick starts and that vulnerability in the lineup kind of just pays attribute to how their games go, at least as far as we've seen. I think it's a really good sign, though, if you're Syracuse, that you've been able to contain them to only 2 runs.
That one is hit on the line on the first pitch into center field for Dax Watts, and it is caught out there by the center fielder, Dawson Raymond, who doesn't even have to move an inch on the Y, and he makes the catch for the first out. So Watts retired on 1 pitch, and here comes Tayson Howard, who scored on that RBI single by Crew Ingersoll back in the second.
Number 5, Tayson Howard.
Again, Howard, the leader in stolen bases on the American Fork team. First pitch on the way from Hopkins is on the outside part of the plate, ball 1. From the belt, kicks and deals does Hopkins. This is fouled back over to the screen on the left field side of the line. And quickly there's 2 strikes. Or quickly there's 1 ball, 1 strike, I should say. Excuse me. I did say it was a long day for everybody.
Especially for us.
Especially for us. We've been here. I've been here since about 9 o'clock this morning. And we are probably going to be here until well past 9 o'clock tonight. So we're going to be here at least 12 hours today, or I'm going to be here at least 12 hours today. 6:35 is the time right now as the 1-1 pitch is high and away for ball 2. Again, the winner of this game gets the winner of our last game here tonight, Lehigh and Riverton. And boy, what a game that's going to be coming up here after this one. That one's on the corner for strike 2. Two on the way. And the count goes full.
This is a great at-bat right here. Not only for Jake Hopkins that he's got him at a 3-2, but he also has 1 out and no runners.
This one is popped up to the left side. Third baseman coming over, gives way to the shortstop Burton. And he makes the catch, and quickly there are 2 gone.
Not as much chaos as the previous inning for Jake Hopkins.
And you have to think that's a good thing because, like Josh and I talked about in the earlier game, getting those clean innings came at a rarity for the Mountain Ridge pitching staff. I mean, they were working overtime and then some as that pitch is high and away, ball 1 to Bodie Gagero.
Both teams' infield are really running interesting shifts, too. We talked about that in the previous game of Davis versus Corner Canyon, how the shift was kind of applied and how it didn't exactly work out for him because it just creates massive gaps in the infield that even right-handed hitters are just able to punch through.
This one is hit on a line to the left. And the left fielder Martin comes over, makes the catch, and that's the end of the inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors as the American Fork Cavemen go Ekahi Elua Aloha in the bottom of the third. We head to the top of the fourth. The score remains 2-0 on the Rewind Sports Network. The Rewind Sports Network, proud to have Igloo Outfitters as our sponsor all season long. Thank them for sponsoring us. And remember, you can get 20% off your next order with Igloo Outfitters when you use the promo code REWIND when you buy from their store online. That's IGLUOutfitters.com. We go to the top of the fourth inning here with Syracuse and American Fork. Cavemen leading 2-0. Alexander Tumulip and Ty Wilkinson here in the broadcast booth at Larry H. Miller Field. And Ty, as expected, number one against number one. We have a defensive battle so far.
It's definitely a pitcher's duel, to say the least, Alex. Low-scoring game, low amounts of hits. And, I mean, we're going into the top of the fourth inning, and to see that stat metric, 2 hits total. I mean, obviously those 2 runs for American Fork, but only 1 hit for Syracuse coming into the top of the fourth inning. You got to consider that a win if you're both pitchers for either side.
And also, you think about it, Ty, that really 2 runs on 1 base hit, because really they really didn't have, because really American Fork has not had a run generated by a base hit so far in this game, as Dax Watts heads back to work, and the first pitch to Dawson Raymond is cut on and missed for strike 1.
Watts is really working on his fastball inside toward the waist, especially for these left-handed hitters, because Syracuse has quite a few of them, too.
That one's a changeup that's cut on and missed for strike 2. Quickly 0-2 the count, and here comes the pitch from Dax Watts. This one is fouled up, and away over the left field stands down there. Does not hit the roof. Haven't had a chance to do an Any Hour Services random roof ringer so far in this game. Might be the first game all day where we don't have one.
Well, now that you say that, it's going to happen this pitch, right?
No, it's not going to happen. Trust me. I'm telling you right now.
All right.
The announcer's curse, Colton Potter can tell you the announcer's curse isn't real.
Highly doubt. I mean,
we've seen evidences that it is real,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
That's the thing. We've seen evidences that it is real.
Especially when it's against your own team, too. That's when it's really real.
1-2 the count. Got him! And Dax Watts is just carving up this order now. 1 gone here in the top half of the fourth inning.
I mean, that lefty versus righty matchup just makes it so easy for Dax Watts to throw. Off-speed pitches, once again, sort of inside. But he also blows pitches right past him. You could see he was trying to catch up there at the very end.
4th strikeout already through 3 1/3 for Dax Watts. Here's the first pitch. And this one gets past the catcher to the backstop. Ball 1. Tag Hamblin has the only base hit of the ball game for the Syracuse Titans. It was a leadoff single in the second. And he swings and misses on a pitch that was in the carpet. That wasn't even close.
That was a great curveball, I think is what it was.
I mean, you talk about fooling a guy. I mean, that was it. As looks like the home plate umpire needs a couple of extra game balls, and he also might have lost his brush back there to try and clean the plate with. He's asking for a couple more game balls, so now he's ready.
Well, look at that sun
and now the sun is coming out, and this is bad.
It's the sun to shade transition favoring the batter.
Yeah, and this is not good. That one is down low and away. 2 balls and a strike now on Tag Hamblin. Yeah, you talked about it. That sun is going straight into the Marriott Center over to the north of us. And when I say it's not good, that's not good. Because then you're going to have some opportunities for real trouble to happen out in the outfield, as that one is strung on and missed again. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out here in the top half of the fourth inning. The pitch. On the corner. Didn't get him.
That was the right call, too. High inside. Top right corner.
So the count goes full now on Tag Hamblin. Can he get on? 3-2 the count. kicks, fires, does Watts. Outside, ball 4.
Great eye.
And so Hamblin got a single in the second inning, draws the walk here, and he's now the first base runner that Syracuse has had here in the 4th inning. And here comes the pitcher, Jake Hopkins, up to the plate.
At plate number 5, Jake Hopkins.
Can Hopkins find a way to put the ping into the ball game and wake up his side? Only 1 base hit so far for the Syracuse Titans, but they could really use a big one right here as we have a time call. The umpire wasn't ready. Now he is. From the belt, Watts. Inside, ball 1. Game 3 of 4 in our opening round day here at Miller Park. As the Lehigh Pioneers getting set for their game, which will likely start at around 8 or 8:30.
I was going to say, I doubt we get a 7 o'clock start time like that was originally intended.
Yeah, we are definitely not we have not started on time for any of the 3 games after the first game we had today. I mean, it's been an amazing day of baseball, to say the least. The 2-0 pitch on the way. And this one is down low and away. 3 balls and no strikes. And now we've been singing the praises of Dax Watts. Now he's having a bit of trouble with his command here.
You're wondering if the sun is kind of playing that factor that we were just talking about, Alex. It was peeping through the clouds for a little bit. And we get that shade over that facade of the roof that's favoring the batter because he can see the ball pretty much all the way.
Hopkins awaits the 3-0. And ball 4 again. So a 4-pitch walk issued by Dax Watts, his second in the last 3 batters. And here comes the pitching coach out to the mound for American Fork. And we'll see if they're going to make a pitching change here.
It's a good mound visit, in my opinion. You could notice that Dax's control, at least in the zone, was either up high or down low, either or. And Syracuse wasn't biting anymore by that point.
So there's nobody up in the bullpen right now for the Syracuse, or for the American Fork Cavemen, as we're going to have a pinch runner out here for the Syracuse Titans. It's number 16, or rather that's number 6, excuse me, Dallin Michelson who's going to go out. Or is that Carson Miles? I think that's Carson Miles actually out at second, who's going to be used as a pinch runner here. So Dax Watts in a little bit of trouble here in the top half of the 4th inning. He's been running smooth through the first 3 1/3, but he's had some bumps.
I can't say I'm not surprised that they're keeping him in though. Only a couple of walks, no hits. He still has only had 1 hit. Through about halfway through 4 innings of play.
Tatum Martin now stands in, the 8th man of the order. Watts comes set. From the belt, fires. Down low again. He's been missing low the last few times. And Josh Dodge and I talked about it earlier on the broadcast in the Mountain Ridge game, how they had to pull Ethan Iacono when he was leaving it in the dirt so many times, 7 of his last 8 pitches, as the check throw back to second is going to bounce away. And fortunately, the shortstop Walker is there to cover the backside of Cooper Jones. That could have been a disastrous play at second base had that gone into center field.
Well, that combo out there, Jet Walker and Cooper Jones, you can rely on those 2 guys to cover that middle infield.
That one is right down the middle for strike 1, and a much-needed strike there for Dax Watts. Watts stands in from the belt, fires. Swing and a miss. Good changeup right there. Pulled a string on him, and it's 1-2.
You wonder if this is the rhythm that he was kind of searching for and the mound visit that he really needed during that time. I mean, Jared Ingersoll knows his players best. Maybe this is what he actually needed to get him to get going.
Here's the 1-2. Outside and away, ball 2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes now against the left fielder, Tatum Martin. We should remind you, Court Taylor, number 22, a left-hander, is up in the bullpen for the American Fork Cavemen. So Watts does have some backup at his disposal if he gets into too much trouble. Bronx Manning stands on deck, the DH. 1 out here in the top half of the 4th inning. 2 runners on, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And what has been a duel between these two number 1 pitchers here this afternoon.
This is a huge out to get if you get a strike.
2-2 pitch, just missed the high corner. 3 balls and 2 strikes again.
And so now the tension rises for Dax because you were ahead in the count 1-2. Now you're behind 3-2 with a full count and giving Syracuse the opportunity to get the bases loaded depending on the pitch.
3-2 the count. 1 out, 2 runners on, the payoff on the way. Ground ball to third. Step on the bag for 1. The throw to first. They get the out. 5 unassisted, 3 double play. Tayson Howard coming up trumps, and Dax Watts does get out of the jam. No runs, despite the base runners. And it remains 2-0 as we head to the bottom of inning number 4. A look at the Marriott Center here on the campus of Brigham Young University. Alexander Tim up alongside Ty Wilkinson for KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of the UHSAA 6A baseball tournament opening round. And in what was expected to be a defensive duel between these two teams, we are seeing that and then some, especially highlighted with that 5U3 double play to end the inning there from the American Fort Cavemen.
And it's just a clutch opportunity. You rely so much on your infield and defenders as a pitcher, and those are the opportunities that you need, and they capitalized on them. And once again, 4 innings, only 1 hit. I mean, not much you can do any better than that. And now we'll see how this sun plays a factor, because now it's going to be shining at least a little bit longer here, Alex. But now it's against Syracuse.
Yep, now it's against Syracuse as Cash Polson leads off here in the bottom half of the 4th. First pitch from Jake Hopkins is down low, 1 ball, no strikes.
I mean, you want to talk about directly into the face. That is quite literally facing towards center field.
1-0 pitch. This one is hit toward the gap. That's going to be big-time trouble. Center fielder Raymond comes over to cut it off. He's going to get it near the wall. Polson's going to turn for second on his way to third, and he's going to get there with a leadoff triple. And what did we just talk about, Ty? Big moments in this ball game. There's one of them, the leadoff triple by C.J. Mascaro. Or rather, that's a Polson, excuse me, who led off with that RBI triple, or that leadoff triple. And now there's runner on third with Crew Ingersoll up to bat. And a pinch runner over at third. That's Isaac Burdock, who's in there again.
That's Polson's second triple.
What a time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
First pitch is inside to Crew Ingersoll, ball 1.
We've seen quite a few triples this playoff so far, Alex.
We saw 2, I think, today at least. That was the second one I think we've seen today. Here's the pitch. Lofted high in the air to left. And after some tracking, the left fielder is able to get it. That will be plenty deep enough to score the run. And the American Fort Cavemen do get that crucial insurance run scratched across. Tatum Martin had some trouble tracking it in left field, but he was able to get there. And it's 3-0 AF just like that. First pitch on the way to Dax Greening is in there at the knees for a strike. Leadoff triple by Cash Polson, and then it was Crew Ingersoll with the RBI sac fly. He has an RBI single today as well. So the bottom of the lineup doing some serious damage for the American Fort Cavemen as that ball is down low, 1 ball, 1 strike. One pitch. High and away, 2-1.
You almost wonder if this is going to be difficult for the hitter, too, to read the pitch in that sun to shade transition.
I mean, it is absolutely brutal right now looking at the infield. Here's Hopkins. Hits one toward the hole, and that's a base hit to right. That's a base hit to left. Throw comes back in quickly. They will hold Dax Greening at first, but it's a one-out single.
Now hitting number 4, C.J. Mascaro.
And C.J. Mascaro now comes up to bat here for the American Fork Cavemen. As that one was absolutely singed right through the hole between short and third.
Well, CJ committed to TCU.
Wow, that's a big pickup.
And what's crazy is he's only a junior, too. And he's already committed to Texas Christian University, just in the amount of experience he's had playing varsity baseball.
So that means BYU fans might see him.
Very well, could be.
In a couple of years down the road, as Hopkins and his catcher have a quick chat on the mound.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about a valuable asset. Bats left, throws left. Last year he pitched 18 and a half innings. He had a 4.85 ERA. This year, 34 innings pitched and has managed a 2.22 ERA.
Quick throw back over to first, and Greening dives back in safe. 3 runs on 4 base hits, 1 error for the American Fork Cavemen. Already 1 run home off the leadoff triple by Cash Polson, leading to the RBI sac fly by Crew Ingersoll, his second RBI of the day. So again, the bottom of the lineup doing some serious damage here for the American Fork Cavemen. That pitch misses the corner, 2 balls and no strikes.
Good time to note that CJ leads American Fork with the most doubles. He's got 9 on the season. He even gained one during this postseason when American Fork had to go through Weber in the playoffs.
That one is singed to the right side and a base hit. And that is Greening, who's going to turn for second and go to third. Meanwhile, behind the plate, Mascaro will get into second. And that means there are runners at second and third now, with still only 1 out.
Now playing number 2, Jet Walker.
And that brings up the dangerous shortstop, Jet Walker.
Dangerous indeed. Fun fact about him, Alex. So, you know American Batsmith, it's a company in Riverton, Utah.
Yes.
They have a Work Hard, Play Hard Brigade of the Month. And he won it in July, and he had to get his name engraved on a wooden maple bat. And they got it to him for free.
That must be
really
a nice
cool
perk.
Especially for a bat that costs close to a mere $400.
That one is in on the hands. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runners at second and third with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 4th inning as the American Fork Cavemen threaten to break this game wide open. The 1-1 pitch. Just misses the corner there. 2 balls and a strike on the inner half.
Jet Walker looking to break at least into the 20s for his RBIs. He's at 19 right now.
He get 20 and 21 if he can come through with a base hit right here.
Trying to break the seal.
That one will not get to him, though. 3 balls and a strike. Winner of this game advances to the second round tomorrow night at 7 p.m. The 3-1 on the way. That one is right there at the letters for a strike. 3 balls and 2, so the count goes full. The 3-2 now on the way. Got him! Strike 3! Foul tip right into the catcher's glove. And that's a big strikeout there for Jake Hopkins. There's 2 out.
At plate number 8, Cooper Jones.
As Cooper Jones moseys on up to the batter's box here. Runner on second and third with 2 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 3-0 our score. That one is inside on the hands. 1 ball, no strikes.
And I mean, you talk about a talented junior in Cooper Jones. not only just in his fielding perspective, but once again as a junior leading his team in home runs.
That one is popped way up into the air. That's going to fall into the first few rows above us. And so that will make it 1 ball and 1 strike. Runner on second and third, 2 out here. In the bottom half of the 4th inning, 1 run already home on 2 base hits. Came home on the RBI sac fly following the leadoff triple by Cash Polson to lead off this inning.
Well, if Jake Hopkins can get away with just 1 run in this inning, I'd call that a win more than anything here. Which would mean he would have stranded plenty of American Fork base runners.
That one is up near the eyes. 2 balls and a strike now.
American Fork has definitely had their chances, Alex. They've been knocking on that door of that third and second base to home.
2-1 offering on the way from Jake Hopkins. Foul tip right into the glove of the catcher, and it's 2-2.
So now Jake Hopkins, he's got a ball to give, theoretically.
2-2 count. 2 runners on, 2 out. Deuces wild, and here's the pitch. Hit in the air on a line to left. Right at the left fielder. It is caught, and that is how the 4th comes to a close. The American Fork Cavemen score 1, but they're unable to get any more. They strand 2. They do make it a 3-0 ball game as we head to the top of the 5th. Top half of the 5th inning here at Miller Field on the campus of Brigham Young University. Alexander Timolip and Ty Wilkinson. We'd like to remind you that this presentation of the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com is presented by Heidemann and Associates, the full-service law firm fully committed to winning for you, the client, and by Igloo Outfitters, the coziest wearable sleeping bag that has you covered during all seasons of the year. As you just saw, Josh Dodge, our cameraman, filling in for Wilson Gustafson today. Panning over to the bullpen, Court Taylor is still in there, warming up for the American Fork Cavemen. As Bronx Manning, the 9-man in the order, 9-1-2 to start the top half of the 5th inning here for the Titans, who should be very lucky. They find themselves only down 3-0 here in the 5th. And Watts hits Manning with an absolute bullet on the first pitch of the inning.
Boy, that's a stinger right to the back.
Yeah, that's going to leave a mark in the morning. So, Dax Watts has some traffic again in front of him here.
Feels like every other inning that he manages to get. We saw it in the first about 3 innings. Syracuse managed to get a base runner. I'm not too sure about the 4th. I think he had a 1-2-3 inning actually in the 4th. So this is now the continued 1st through 3rd innings now that Dax Watts has been through. And so far, the righty has delivered, as you see zeros on the scoreboard.
Dallin Michelson now the pinch runner over at first. The first pitch on the way is a strike right down the heart of the plate to the top of the order, Audi Burton. Three runs, 5 hits, 1 error for American Fork. One hit, 1 error for the Syracuse Titans. The pitch is just a little bit high. 1-1.
It's a beautiful off-speed pitch, too, coming down. You can tell it was kind of sinking, too. It's a sinker coming in right around 65.
That's an eternity. That pitch hits the top left corner this time. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You can just tell his diversity of pitches, too, Alex. He throws high heat, low sinkers. He struggled a little bit getting base runners last inning. And now he's facing another favorable count.
1-2, pitch! See ya! 5 strikeouts now for Dax Watts, and that's another big one. Easton Hamblin, now the right fielder, ambles into the box as the sun starts to come out again behind us here at Miller Field. First pitch on the way is a pitch out attempt, high and away, ball 1. Court Taylor remains in the bullpen, warming up the lefty now for American Fork. Watts comes set, the 1-0. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Blew the fastball right by him.
You notice whenever Dax has a base runner on first, it feels like his incentive becomes a lot greater to throw these really inside off-speed pitches.
1-1 pitch. This one hit in the air into center. Center fielder backs up a couple of steps into the sun. Makes the catch on the edge of the Y. And there are 2 gone now here in the top half of the 5th. As Carson Miles now stands in. And I keep forgetting to mention this, folks. The tying run for Syracuse is in the on-deck circle. And it's in the person of Brock Hopkins, number 21, standing down in the on-deck circle as the tying run. The go-ahead run is in the hole. That pitch is right down the heart of the plate for a high strike.
Well, Dax is also facing the top of the Syracuse lineup, too.
And he has come up with some big things again and again and again as this check throw over to first. Keeps the runner honest. Even with 2 out, Watts taking no chances. Another check throw over to first and again back in as the runner. Just past 7 o'clock p.m. local time here in Provo. Pitch on the way is hit in the air once again to center. And the center fielder comes in, makes the catch, and that retires the side. So the Syracuse Titans get traffic, but they can't get any further than that. We head to the bottom of the 5th, and the score remains 3-0 American Fork. At the conclusion of this afternoon's game, Ty and I will be selecting our choice for the Heidemann & Associates Player of the Game, presented by the full-service law firm that's committed to building a winning team for you, the client. Alexander Timolip, Ty Wilkinson here at Larry H. Miller Field here in Provo, Utah, on the campus of BYU. 3-0 is our score in favor of the American Fork Cavemen as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning, Ty. And this game has really been defined by little swings of momentum here and there because Syracuse used small ball to their advantage in Game 2 of their Super Regional Series last week. But they have just run into a buzzsaw this afternoon in Dax Watts.
Agreed. I mean, Dax Watts has just been incredible. I mean, scoreboard shows 5 innings, 0 runs, and only 1 hit. That has been allowed courtesy of Dax Watts. And again, he gets those couple of walks, but it feels like whenever he has a base runner, he becomes a lot more composed and, you know, it feels like the intent of his pitches becomes a lot more aggressive.
He stands in for Jake Hopkins now, and he takes a strike on the outer half. Wouldn't it be poetic if he gets a home run to cap off what would be a brilliant day right now?
I would think so.
I would think so, too. Here's the 1-0. This one is hit in the air to left, off the end of the bat. And Raymond comes over, the left fielder, to make the catch. Or Martin, rather, comes over to make the catch in left field, and there's 1 gone on 2 pitches here in the bottom of the 5th.
They're wearing sunglasses now. Point number 5.
Yeah, outfielders aren't dealing with as much stressful situations, at least as we thought that they would be starting to occur. Now that the sun has come out for the first time during this ball game.
Tayson Howard, the third baseman, stands in for the first time since the 4th inning. His first pitch that he takes is down low, ball 1. We also want to remind you the American Fork bullpen is active. Court Taylor was throwing, and now it's Jet Walker, the shortstop. And we also have a couple of arms up in the bullpen for the Syracuse Titans. Thanks to Josh Dodge for catching that for me. As the wind continues to blow, now it's coming from behind, going from home plate out toward the outfield. As that pitch is down low and in. 3 balls and no strikes, the count now on the third baseman, Taysom Howard.
Notice how deep, if Josh can pan over, how deep the infielders, they're pretty much all the way out in the outfield right now, Alex, just because of this American fork. The power of its lineup, I think, is just keeping them not even within close to the base path, or at least what would normally be where the base path is.
I mean, we talked about it coming on the air, was how good this American fork lineup has been all season long. I mean, Jake Hopkins has done about as good a job as you can do holding them off. As this one is poked in the air to left field, and it is caught over the shoulder style by the shortstop, Audi Burton. And quickly, there are 2 gone here in the bottom of the 5th.
And perhaps that's the reason why the infielders are playing so deep, Alex, is because now it's basically like you have outfielders and infielders at the exact same time. So I think that's a great coaching tactic to kind of have these kind of gaps like right in between. You notice how the coverage, at least in the air, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pretty much covering. You got 1 at left center and 1 at right center as well, and that's the infielders' courtesy and job.
You know, do you feel like that's also a courtesy to the wind? Because look how the flag is blowing out towards right field right now. It's really picked up over the last few minutes or so. I mean, it was blowing, according to the National Weather Service over at the Provo Airport, about 20 miles per hour of the north-northwest. Now it's north-northwest at 16.
It's even blowing in here, all of our notes.
Well, that's the draft coming back in, as this is chopped on the ground to second, picked up clean, throw over to first in time, and that ends the inning. So the American fork Cavemen go ikahi elua aloha in the bottom of the 5th inning. As you can take a look, clearly the wind's picking up here in Provo, and it's having an effect on these hitters so far. To the top of the 6th we go. It remains 3-0 American fork. Well, believe it or not, folks, that's all we've had so far. We haven't had much offense. It's been a defensive pitcher's duel here so far between Jake Hopkins, who's thrown 87 pitches, and Dax Watts, who's thrown 83, going for a Maddox complete game this afternoon. Alexander Timop alongside Ty Wilkinson here at Larry H. Miller Field in Provo, Utah. And Ty, it's now or never for the Syracuse Titans. They have got to get something going against Dax Watts, who has completely shut them down here. 1 hit over 5 innings with 83 pitches and 5 strikeouts.
Well, agreed, because now is the time to get runs. Both pitchers, as we just mentioned, are getting really high in the count. And yes, there is a cap to how many pitches pitchers can throw, especially in the Utah 6A battle. So now this is the time, I feel like more than ever. Still, you're facing Dax Watts, a guy that you've, been accustomed to going at least 3 times through the lineup, at least for some of the lineup, I should say. But now is more the time than ever to at least get a couple of runs on the board to try to bridge that gap before you need to bring in your other relievers.
First pitch coming to Brock Hopkins is down low and away, ball 1. Again, as we said, coming into this inning, Dax Watts has thrown only 83 pitches through 5 complete innings. 1 strike pitch on the way, and it hits.
I could have sworn that hit him.
I think it maybe more grazed him more than anything. So it's
Well, it's a 0-2 count, Alex.
It's actually 1-1. The scoreboard is off a little bit as this is fouled off to the right. Look out over the dugout on the first base side. Now it is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dax Watts, can he get another one? The 1-2 pitch. Low and outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Four, 5, 6 in this inning for the Syracuse Titans to bat. The 1-2 on the way from Watts. That bounces up to the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's a beautiful take right there. You mentioned before, Alex, behind in the count.
Actually, it's 3 balls and 2 strikes, so it's a full count now. I stand correct. I'm sorry, missed it. 3 balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. Ground ball to second. Picked up on 2 hops. Throw over to first in time. score it 4-3 to put out. And there is one gone here in the top half of the sixth. Once again, coming up after this game will be Riverton against Lehigh. And let me tell you, if it's Riverton against American Fork in the second round, I know we still got a lot of baseball to go, but I tell you what, that is going to be some battle tomorrow between Jay Applegate's crew and Jared Ingersoll's crew if we get there. A 1 pitch is hit foul. Look out over to the right side and almost took out everybody that was sitting over there. Probably took a few teeth with it. 2 strikes. 1 out. And the pitch from Watts. Foul right back to the screen.
Alex, ever since this wind has picked up, you can notice the shift is really on. Not only just for Syracuse, but now American Fork is playing with the shift too.
Yeah, that outfield is playing almost straight away, but the infield is literally, half of the infield is literally almost on the grass as that one is fouled back once again to the screen. Get a good look at it from Josh Dodge, who's our camera guy today. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Watts. See you later. He gets 6 strikeouts now for Dax Watts. Just in the zone as ever he should have been today. And now here comes Tag Hamblin. First pitch from Watts, high, as Polson had to come up and snatch that down a couple of inches. 1-0 pitch. Just inside. 2 balls and no strikes now.
Good news for him, or for Dax at least. Even though you're behind in the count, you still have 2 outs and no base runners.
That is a beauty of a off speeder right there for a strike. 2-1.
And see, when you're a pitcher, when you don't have to worry about anyone on the base path, that stress becomes a lot more vigilant, as you can see for Dax Watts, because all he has to do is worry about whatever he's got in front of him.
This one is lined to third on the hot corner, and making the catch is the third baseman, Tayson Howard. And that concludes matters here in the top half of the 6th inning. The American Fork Cavemen put the Cuse down in order. 1, 2, 3 they go. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It is now 3-0 American Fork as the bullpen gets active for the Syracuse Titans. Back after this on the Rewind Sports Network. Bullpen's active now for the Syracuse Titans as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning here, with the American Fork Cavemen leading 3-0 over the Syracuse Titans, trying to become the first top seed to advance, or I should say top 4 seed to advance in this year's playoffs here at BYU. Corner Canyon upset the 2 seed Davis, and then Fremont knocked out Mountain Ridge. And it's Cash Polson who really has done the damage today for American Fork, this bottom of the lineup. Polson with the leadoff triple in the bottom of the 4th that led to the RBI sac fly that brought him home on the very next pitch.
Well, it's the Polson and then Ingersoll directly after him duo in this lineup that's kind of just torn apart Syracuse. At least, I shouldn't say torn apart, but has teared that 3-0 hole more often with Crew Ingersoll's 2 RBIs.
This one is hit to the left side and through. And a leadoff single for Cash Polson. And he's aboard now to start the bottom of the 6th inning. And a big insurance run out there at first now, as once again Isaac Murdoch will be called upon as a pinch runner here for AF.
Number 6, Crew Ingersoll.
And here comes Crew Ingersoll, who had the RBI sac fly in the bottom of the 4th to bring his buddy in after Polson's leadoff triple.
Well, that's what I said. The Polson and then Ingersoll directly after each other.
And the wind is just really whipping now from behind home plate out towards the outfield. That flag is bending all sorts of directions now as that pitch to Ingersoll is inside, ball 1. Runner on first, nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th inning of game number 3 of 4. Quick throw back over to first and in safely after dropping the throw is Murdoch. Lehigh and Riverton coming up next after this game. What a battle that's going to be between those two teams. Last year's 5A runner-up against the 6A semifinalist. This one is golfed into the air to right field, tailing foul. And it'll land into the bullpen.
Please return all foul balls to the nearest dugout.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. Nobody out here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Alexander Timolip alongside Ty Wilkinson here at Larry H. Miller Field on the campus of Brigham Young. One pitch. That is right down the heart of the plate for strike 2.
Man, Jake Hopkins has really been, I would say, able to contain American Fork's lineup, only holding them to 3, where other teams have kind of torn them apart, during the regular season. At least every opponent, it feels like American Fork has played, but as we mentioned, it's that 1 versus 1 in the state of Utah happening right before our eyes, so I guess it's no question the score is the way it is.
1-2 the count. No outs here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Big insurance run out there at first right now in the person of Isaac Murdoch. The 1-2 pitch. Check throw back to first. That's going to be close. Did they get him? No, it was on the ground. It was dropped. And no argument over there from Tag Hamblin over there at first base. So a good throw by the catcher Wilson, but Hamblin not able to hang on.
Shout out to the umpire crew. They've been getting most of the calls right, at least so far tonight, Alex.
And again, another late throw, this time behind the first baseman Hamblin. I don't know if he was ready for that. 2-2 the count. Nobody out still yet here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Jake Hopkins takes a look over his shoulder at first and brings the 2-2 pitch down. And that is swung on and missed. He struck him out. And that is a biggie for Jake Hopkins. There's 1 gone here now in the bottom of the 6th. This is 4th of the game.
Great off-speed pitch thrown by Jake. Right down the middle, too. I could have sworn that ball had touched home plate before entering into the catcher's glove.
So now here comes Dak screening the right fielder, number 9 in the order, and then the lineup card will turn over for C.J. Mascaro, the center fielder. Here's the first pitch. This is chopped up the first base line. Hamblin will go the sure way to first. 3 unassisted for the putout, and there's 2 gone now as the runner advances to second base.
Very quiet bats, courtesy of the American Fork lineup.
This by far has been the quietest we've seen them get 6 hits all season long. But the fact that they've held Syracuse to just 1 hit is nothing short of incredible. But still, yet, it puts the doubt in your mind, Ty, that, it's still doable for the Syracuse Titans team at the top of the 7th inning. Anything can happen.
Depends on the pitcher. We'll see if Dax Watts decides he wants to go however
complete
long.
Game, yeah. Yep. He has a chance to go complete game as that one is down and in for ball 1. Or down and away, rather, for ball 1. Watts currently working on a potential Maddox complete game. Maddox, of course, is less than 100 pitches complete game. 1-0 pitch on the way from Hopkins is down low in the dirt, again off the carpet. 2 balls and no strikes. The hard cap on the pitch count here at the high school level in Utah is 110. So you'd have to think right now, Dax Watts has to have that in the back of his mind. 2-0 pitch on the way is outside ball 3. And you'd have to think Jake Hopkins is probably approaching that cap as well, which is why Syracuse has the 2 arms up in the bullpen. 2-0 the count, runner on second. And the pitch. Or rather 3-0, and now it's 3-1 as that one catches the outer half of the plate. Strike one.
And the wind continues to whip.
And it is, yeah, it's whipping from behind. It's swirling now behind us.
You can see on the back of Jake's jersey, whenever he gets into the windup position, the back of his jersey kind of just flows just like a flag.
3-1 pitch. Ball 4. And that will add a runner on first and second now with 2 out. And here comes Jet Walker.
Play number 2, Jet Walker.
As we see head coach Jay Applegate coming up to the stands to say hi to some of the fans. For Riverton, out to our right. There's Coach Applegate walking by us right now, coming to say hi. First pitch on the way is high and inside, ball 1.
You mean just look at the second base umpire. His clothes just start whipping.
Yeah, Ryan Miller, the second base umpire, umpire at second base, can see it right now as Hopkins throws a dart right at the knees for a strike.
And that's not favorable pitching either. The way wind works here is it comes over the facade, goes down, and kind of goes uppercuts a little bit, making pitching extremely difficult.
1-1 pitch on the way. And that one just missed the inside corner, 2-1.
But for what it's worth, Jake has been handling it super well ever since it started late here in the inning.
And you also have to say that it's nothing short of a miracle right now. Syracuse is only down 3-0 right now. As that pitch is lined into center field, coming in and making the catch with the stretch is the center fielder, Dawson Raymond. What a play. Had trouble tracking it, but able to get it on the stretch fetch, and that ends the inning. They strand 2 runners, and we head to the top of the 7th. Last chance saloon coming up for the Syracuse Titans. They need 3, and they get 1 chance with 3 outs left. Down 3-0. The Rewind Sports Network and our coverage of the UHSAA 6A baseball playoffs continues as we get a look at the new pitcher now, Jet Walker. The shortstop turned pitcher will now be the one tasked to get the save here. The final 3 outs this afternoon. Dax Watts with a strong performance, 6 full innings, 6 strikeouts. And now Jet Walker, it's up to him to get the final 3 outs and nail down the save.
Well, he's known for his closing attributes. And I mean, as you see him warming up, I think he's feeling it today.
Our next game between Lehigh and Riverton, we want you to stay tuned, folks. That game will be coming up just after 8 p.m. local time. It's been a long day for all 3 of us, but we're getting close to the end. And let me tell you, Ty, we have seen some incredible baseball here today on both ends of the bracket. I mean, this has been a great day.
It has been a great day, and we still have 1 powerhouse game left. Lehigh and Riverton is going to be a war, Alex.
That winner will get the winner of America. That will get the winner of this game. Still a lot to be decided. 3 outs is a long ways to go in baseball, especially with only a 3-1 lead. And it's Cash Polson now. And Jet Walker, 1 and 2.
Well, storyline today is Jet Walker has a chance to add to a combined 1 hitter through the entire Syracuse lineup, which in and of itself is impressive, but no runs going into the 7th.
So Jake Hopkins now stands in, and his task will just simply be to get on base and to get the tying run on deck. Jet Walker, the shortstop, the senior. First pitch on the way. And then bounces up to the plate on the changeup, ball 1. Maybe feeling a little too much adrenaline right now.
Well, you're right, Alex. The goal here is just to get a guy on base. And who better than for Jake to do it?
Here's the 1-0. Swung on and missed, strike 1. He was thinking fastball, but he was just a little bit late on it. The 1-1. High and away, 2 balls and 1 strike. Did not get the call on the upper part of the plate. 2-1. Swing and a miss, strike two. And now Jet Walker with a chance to set down another man on strikeouts. It'd be the seventh rather for this American Fork staff today. 2-2. Fly ball into right, dropping toward the line. And the right fielder, Dax Greening, comes over, makes the catch. And there's one gone here in the top half of the seventh. And that will bring up the left fielder, Tatum Martin, with Bronx Manning, the ninth man in the order, the last to do it. The last to do the honors here for the Syracuse Titans as Walker leaves that first pitch around the eyes. 1 ball, no strikes.
I think we haven't talked about very much, Alex, is the courtesy of the outfielders. They have made pretty much every single play that they've been given today on pop-outs. And some of these plays, they're not super easy at their leisure, to say the least. Like, they have to make the all-or-nothing effort. We've seen diving catches and flyouts. But that's the reason why the pitching is also doing so well for either side, is just because of the defense.
Example A! Jet Walker gets the strikeout. And the Syracuse Titans are down to their final out this afternoon. The 7th strikeout for the American Fork pitching staff. And Bronx Manning is the last chance for the Titans here. First pitch. Down low, ball 1. Just one hit all afternoon, and it was the Tag Hamblin single in the 2nd inning. And even though American Fork has stranded over 10 base runners today, their pitching has done more than enough to hold them in the game. The 2-0 pitch. Strike right at the thighs. The win will go to Dax Watts. 2-1 pitch. High and away, 3 balls and 1 strike now, the count. On Bronx Manning with Audi Burton, the shortstop.
If you're Bronx Manning, this is the count you want. You have a strike to take, and it could also be a ball.
And there's ball 4. So we're not pow yet. As the tying run now moves into the on-deck circle, and here comes the shortstop to lead it off, Audi Burton. And the pitching coach for American Fork is going to come out to the mound and have a staff meeting here with 2 outs and a runner on first and the tying run in the on-deck circle.
And it's smart because now they're about to face the top 1, 2, 3 of Syracuse's lineup, if it gets to said point.
It certainly could.
But as you know, Audi Burton batting in that 1 spot. I think this is a great mound visit. Try to contend. You know, get a plan with your infields. Obviously, now you have a base runner. And this game is still far from over, even though there's still 1 out. It's a mental mindset, Alex.
Sure is. Jared Angersall out there with the... I think what's going through Jared Angersall's mind right now is we come down the stretch of this one. Runner on first. The tying run is in the on-deck circle. In the person of Easton Hamblin, and Audi Burton, the shortstop, is at the plate. The first pitch on the way from Walker. Cut on a miss, strike 1.
Jet's going to throw some nothing but straight gas here, I think, for the next 2 pitches. Alex is going to try to blow it past them a couple of times.
0-1 pitch. That's a strike, and the Titans are down to their final strike this afternoon.
Well, that's the pitch I'm talking about. It's his fastball. Throws it at 93.
Jet Walker. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The 0-2 pitch. He struck him out, and the American Fork Cavemen move on.
And that's Long Syracuse Titans 0, the American Fork Cavemen 3. The Cavemen will play again tomorrow night at 7 p.m. here at their H. Field. And
How about that? A dominant performance on the mound for the American Fork Cavemen. They get the win 3-0, and they move on to the second round tomorrow night, where they'll face the winner of our final game, Lehigh and Riverton. Time now for our Heidemann & Associates Player of the Game, presented by the full-service law firm committed to building a winning team for you, the client. Ty, there is no doubt who our player of the game is. It has to be the man that went 6 strong with 6 strikeouts, gets the win, the number 1 pitcher for American Fork. Certainly looking like the number 1 pitcher in the state today in Dax Watts.
And he is the reason why American Fork, I felt, won this game. American Fork, known for their offensive structure, they blow teams out by at least 10, at least in some of the games that they've played so far this season. Syracuse, an outstanding job. I mean, I'll give all the credit that's due to them for holding them to only 3 runs. That defense was incredible. But again, Dax Watts, only 1 hit in 6 innings. And I mean, a great all-around game for him as he, sends American Fork to the next round.
A combined 1-hitter for the American Fork Cavemen today. The win goes to Dax Watts. The save goes to Jet Walker. And the hard luck loss goes to Jake Hopkins. What a great duel we saw between those 2 number 1 pitchers today. We want to thank Josh Dodge on the camera. But Ty and I, we still have 1 more game to go. It'll be Lehigh and Riverton coming up here in about 30 minutes.
You excited?
I hope you're excited, because this is going to be a battle between those 2 teams. We'll have that for you at the top of the hour. You're watching the Rewind Sports Network's coverage of the UHSA 6A Baseball Tournament. Stay tuned, folks. We still got plenty to come from Miller Field.